Great evening, great evening, great evening again. Here I am. Technical problems will never stop me from showing up. So yes, here I am. Thank you so much for waiting. I appreciate all of you. So let's just start from the top, shall we? So welcome to the Sonya Dungee Podcast, episode number 195. Which is presented by Always Destined for Greatness, LLC, B Lips, LLC, and Drip City Customs, LLC. So tonight, first of all, please state the geographical area in which you are joining us from tonight. It's always important to me, and I love to shout you out. And I'm going to do my best to read this. I see some hearts floating, but I don't see the comments as of yet. So please, please, please let me know the geographic area in which you are tuning in from. I see. Okay, they're coming in. Miami's in the building. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. I see you and I feel you. All right, so let's just do a little bit of housekeeping first. So if tonight you receive value, please put it in the comments. It's important for me to know that value was received. If you got a breakthrough moment, or if you receive an aha, please also put that accordingly in the chat too. How's everybody doing tonight? We are at Thanksgiving Eve. I know people are busy cooking and traveling and whatnot, so just be safe out there in those streets. But I want to thank you for joining the Sonya Dungee Podcast, where conversation is always the essence of the soul. I am your host, Sonya Dungee, and of course, yes, I'm still bringing that heat to the IG, the Facebook, and the YouTube, and now TikTok streets. So before we begin tonight, as always, I appreciate you. I appreciate your comments, your text messages, your phone calls, your emails, and your DMs. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. I appreciate that. Also, thank you so much for the birthday shout outs. I'm still receiving them a whole week later. Thank you so much. I've been doing my best to keep up with answering back, but I promise you I'll get to you for sure. So tonight we are going to have a conversation about 3 broken crayons that still colors. And we've been doing a series about a broken crayon still colors, and we are going to continue tonight. But tonight we're going to talk about the joy, the wisdom, and the love. Okay? So we're going to begin with sharing with you 3 different crayons, talking to you about its purpose, and giving you purposeful reasons to be able to follow if you fit into one or more of these categories. The first one is the yellow crayon, and it's about that joy, that reawakening. And so the yellow crayon is known as the reawakening crayon, okay? And in that, its purpose is to find that light again that's been missing, but find it without it being forced, okay? Because when we all know that when we force things, things do not come out the way as planned, all right? So the first one is the yellow, and there's the stages within the yellow reawakening joyous crayon that we're going to speak about tonight. And the first is smiling unexpectedly. All right. And I found myself doing that when I was in the midst of my 342 days of grief. And for those of you who do not know who I am, allow me to introduce myself and share my story a little bit more. Yes, I'm a podcaster. My name is Sonya Dungee from the Sonya Dungee Podcast. And back in 2021, I went through an ordeal, a very tough time in my life. when my dad went to be with the Lord. It was unexpected. I never saw it coming. And as a result of that, I immediately went into isolation. I went into darkness. I was that hamster or that gerbil, as you will, in the wheel that was just going around and around and around day after day after day, doing the same thing as in that movie, even Groundhog Day. The only thing that changed was the seconds of the day, the minutes, the hours, the weeks, the months, and almost the year. Okay? As I said, I never saw it coming. I don't wish that on anyone. And my purpose of sitting in front of you week after week after week, episode 194, knock on wood, it's 195 now, knock on wood, is a result of what transpired. So in that state that I was in, that totally came unexpected, happened because upon taking my dad to a doctor's appointment, we were blindsided and told that my dad had 6 months to live. So in that 6 months, I'm thinking to myself, it's going to be the best 6 months I could possibly give my father, make him as comfortable as possible. We're going to hang out as much as possible, cheat with the game shows, make his favorite foods, give him his favorite ice cream. I was moving my furniture out of my bedroom and bringing in his hospital bed and a recliner, and all these things is going through my head as I'm sitting there trying not to show my true emotion or gut reaction to the medical personnel that just brought us this news. So not even 48 hours later, I find myself at my dad's bedside holding his hand, not wanting to be there because I know what is going to happen, especially since I found myself there in the middle of the night when I was called and told that my dad wasn't going to make it. And I was like, where did this come from? 6 months? How did that turn into not even 48 hours, not even 24? And so when I said my goodbyes to my dad the first time, now that was on a Saturday. It was on January 23rd of 2021 at the VA hospital in Northport, New York, 5 days before my dad's 83rd birthday. Here I am, forced to sit at his bedside, holding his hand, looking into his eyes, watching a tear roll down his cheeks, and watching my dad take his very last breath on this earth, knowing he was taking his first breath in heaven. I spiraled out of control. I was isolated, as I said, devastated to say the least, not knowing how to handle it. I isolated myself from everyone that I loved, not intentionally. I didn't share my grief with anyone because I didn't want my family to grieve any more than they were already grieving, because they were deep in grief and I knew that. And I didn't want to put that burden of self on them, so I didn't. And because I didn't, I was in this grief, this pain, this heartache, this darkness, this despair for 342 days before I made a conscious decision to do anything differently. And I'm going to pause there with my story because I'm going to pick it up a bit later. But going back to the story now, the first stage in that reawakening of joy, as I said, was the unexpected smiling. And I would find myself doing that at times, and then I would catch myself and I would say to myself, what am I doing? Sonya, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be smiling. You can't do that. What are people going to think? You see, in my mind, I felt that people would see that and view me as heartless, as not caring, as a lack of respect for my father. But boy, was I wrong. I was wrong. And I can admit that. In the second stage, it's noticing those simple things in life. Those simple things in life. The sunshine. Looking out a window and seeing the birds chirping, hearing them chirp and seeing them flying around. Laughter. Being on the receiving end of a kind word or gesture. Those are some of the simple things. Just a few part of them. There's many. The third, a feeling of warmth return. Let me say that again. A feeling of warmth return. That's that feeling of content and feeling of being at ease. It's a renewed sense of closeness in regards to others that have showered one with love during that period of darkness, of isolation, of despair. The realization that one is not in it alone. And there's, and it's not conducive to isolate yourself. All the things that I was doing until I started personally feeling that warmth return. Feelings that can be shared without being scrutinized or judged. And I'm sure we've all heard the phrase, the warm and fuzzy feelings. Well, that's what that is. It's the stage of empathy and kindness. It's also when we can reciprocate that to others. Number 4, allowing oneself to feel good without guilt. Now, anybody who knows me, my words are great, great, great. Great morning, great afternoon, great evening. How are you feeling? Great. But when you're just coming through, feeling good is wonderful. Feeling good is great. Feeling good at that point in the yellow is as great as going to be. Okay? That's when you can practice to thrive. You can practice to thrive. That's when you're truly, truly allowing yourself to feel good without that guilt. And in that, some true practices would be a gratitude journal. And you've heard me say it all the time, many, many, many occasions. Get yourself a gratitude journal. If not, get a notebook, some paper, start writing. Write down a minimum of 3 things each and every day, 3 different things that you are truly grateful for. I mean truly grateful for. Say them over and over again during the course of the day. And if you do that, 3 different things that you are truly grateful for each and every day, at the end of 1 year, you'll have a minimum of 1,095 different reasons to be grateful. And I'm reading in the chat. Thank you, DC, for joining. You're seeing your truth. If you don't feel, you don't heal. That's so important. Absolutely. Gratitude journals are so amazing. They are. They absolutely are. And you know what? That's something that you can pass down. You can pass that down. You could turn that into a book, a bestseller, anything. The sky's the limit. The sky is truly the limit. Another, take walks with nature. I do it all the time. I walk to the store sometimes just so that I can take a walk in nature. And in that, take a deep breath in and exhale while you walk. I'm not talking about breathe like you normally breathe. I mean breathe. Suck in that air and then exhale it while walking. That fresh air. The fresh air. And while you're doing that, while you're walking, look all around you. The trees, the birds, the grass. People walking, people talking, kids playing. People mowing the grass, sitting down on their porches, driving past you. I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at everything. I'm even looking at the houses and saying, oh, that house is beautiful. Love the grass. I love this. I love that. I'm just in love while I'm walking. And in that, celebrate those small wins. Those small wins. Acknowledge those achievements that you make. No matter how small they are, acknowledge them and celebrate them. Okay? Each small win is truly gratifying. It boosts motivation and confidence. I know when I hit a goal, I'm all over it. I'm like, I did that. Yes, I did. Even if it's something I don't necessarily want to do or something that just seems like unachievable at the moment. Okay? And one of them is when I have to carry heavy things from the car or a lot of things from the car. And then I got to walk upstairs too. I'll be like, oh my goodness. And I'm looking at the first step and I'm like, all right, I can do this. And I go to the second step. All right, one more step than the step before. And by the time I hit that 14th step, I feel like Rocky. I'm like, yes, I did that. I did that. So no matter what it is, whether it's a step, whether it's something that you planned that you haven't done, that you know you should do, but you don't want to do it, but you need to do it, so go do it. Do it and then celebrate the small win behind that. Yes, I'm going, warrior queen. Breathing is a must. It helps immensely. Walking in nature can be therapeutic. It absolutely can. Thank you so much for the comments. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. So, it also fosters that positive mindset. It really combats against past mistakes and trauma. A trauma that's associated with grief, with hardships, and with life challenges. It gives incentive to larger goals, achieving milestones. It provides clarity and it opens up the path to success. I go, that's right. Oh, Miss Rocky, I like that. Okay, all right. I'll take that. Miss Rocky, all right, thank you. The next, mirror reflection. And you know I talk about that all the time. Speak life to the self-image in the mirror. All day, every day. I keep a mirror like, bam, like right, I'm looking at the mirror right there. Okay, I keep a mirror all over. I keep one in the studio. I keep one in my room. I keep one wherever I go. There's always a mirror. If I don't bring it, I know there's one. In the car, public bathroom, anywhere and everywhere. There's no excuse. Nobody can say to me that they don't have a mirror because you do. Compact mirror, some kind of mirror. There's a mirror. Okay? And in that, make sure that you speak life. Be authentic in that process. Okay? In doing so, it'll assist you in the reduction of negativity, negative thoughts, negative feelings. Choose phrases that fit you. Don't just pop open a book or, ask ChatGPT, how do I speak to myself in the mirror, or give me some affirmations. If they're not something of your value, if it's not something that you can relate to, don't say it. Choose phrases that fit you. Even if you don't fully believe in it at the moment, but you know it fits you, that's what you should be saying to the self-image in the mirror. Okay? Yes, blessed night from the Caribbean. Thank you, Trinidad, for being in the building. I appreciate you. All right, so again, in doing so, it is going to assist you in reducing those negative thoughts, okay, and those negative feelings. And make sure you choose phrases that fit you, even if you don't believe in it, as I said before. You might not believe in it at the moment, but speak it. You're speaking life into yourself, that self-image. And over time, you're going to start believing it to be true, because it is. Okay? It helps build up your self-esteem as well. That's crucial. Very important. Community. Surround yourself with uplifting, supportive, like-minded, next-level individuals that are going to uplift you, that's going to support you, that's going to call you out on your BS, that's going to keep you accountable. That's the community that I choose to surround myself with. And in that process, you're going to realize that perhaps some people in your community needs to be demoted, and some others need to be promoted. But fact check on who you allow to have around you. And if they're not doing the things that I described, uplifting, supported, next level, holding you accountable, being accountable themselves, non-judgmental, loving on you, being there for you, checking in on you, then demotion is required. And I'm reading, that is so true. The subconscious doesn't know between the truth and the lie. It absolutely does not. Okay? It doesn't. Now, the fourth crayon that we're going to talk about in the series, and our second for tonight, is that beautiful purple crayon. Okay? That's wisdom that is born of pain. Let me repeat that for you. That's wisdom born of pain. Okay? And before I go further, I'm seeing about community. You, my love, are part of my community, the best, the most iconic. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So let's get back to the purple crayon. Okay, so that, as I said, that purple crayon is wisdom, and it's born of pain. And it's a beautiful crayon. I love purple. The function of this purple crayon is to transform one's story into meaning, into clarity, into purpose. Okay? Again, the sole purpose of this purple crayon is for clarity, meaning, and purpose. Okay? So in this stage, You're seeing the bigger picture of one's journey. So at this point, at this stage, you're actually seeing the picture of what you've gone through in life, part of your story, sharing the story of pain to purpose as I just did. Okay? So in life, we all have a story to tell. And it's our story to tell. And it's our duty to share those stories. Okay? Every single thing that we go through in life has a purpose. Even when we don't know, even when we question why. Like for me, I shared my story of me not wanting to be there, knowing what the outcome was going to be. And this was in the height of the pandemic, mind you. It was one of the most coldest days in January. It was below 0. I had family that was outside on a Zoom saying their last goodbyes to my dad because it was the height of the pandemic and they weren't allowed to come in. It was only 2 people. My daughter was there Zooming because we had family all over the world and there was no way that people were going to get to New York that fast. Okay? And I'm grateful that they didn't try then because we all know humans are not God. God has the final say. And that 6 months wasn't even 48 hours later. So my daughter was there. My son was there. And those were the only 2. And it wasn't, I should say it this way. There was a nurse, an angel on this earth, that asked my daughter, "Where is your mother? I don't care what the doctor said. Tell her to come in here. Tell her to get in here now." Because I thought that I had said my goodbyes in the middle of the night, just a couple of hours before. And being that there was only 2 that were allowed and my son wanted to be there and my daughter was Zooming, that I forgoed coming back into the room. So I was out freezing in the parking lot with my friends and loved ones that were able to get to Northport fast enough. And those that would have to rely on public transportation or an airplane to come from all over the world, they were on a Zoom call. I know it sounds a little different, but you have to do what you have to do, and that's what we did. So she allowed me to come into the room, and that's why I was there, and that's how I was holding my dad's hand, because I was the only sibling that was in New York. Not that it's about me, because this is not about me. So when I share my story, the purpose is to help others so that others can relate. And I am sitting before you fully transparent. And you've seen me. Sometimes I cry. Sometimes it's parts of the story that I laugh. But you see, I was that broken crayon. And for those broken crayons that are out there, I thank you for watching. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on the replay. Because this is valuable. I get phone calls, text messages, DMs especially, for people that I don't know or barely know or didn't know they were in that predicament, and they are grateful because they were able to relate. And this isn't Sonya pat on the back. This is because if you know somebody who is in that situation, or it is you yourself, it's okay. It's okay to be broken. What it's not okay is to stay that way. Life is going to be different, but life is still lifing around you. And that's what I want you to realize. Your life is forever changed. I get that. Mine has also. But in that, I was able to see the gift that my dad left behind for me. And that's what I'm sharing with all of you. So as I said, everything that we go through in life has a purpose, even when it's questioned. Even when it's questioned. Let's tell our story, knowing that there's more. I knew when I was going through it. I knew that there was a reason why I was going through it. I knew that I could have been dead 4 times over. Our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, left me here for a purpose, and I felt like it was my duty to be purposeful, to answer to the voices that I was called to serve, to lead my sheep. So in order to do that, coaching and mentoring is needed. Someone who teaches not only from text, but more importantly, from life experience, such as myself. And I'm reading the comments because I don't want to go too far and leave out anything. God bless you for being vulnerable. Definitely authenticity is relatable. You help others feel it's okay not to be okay. Vulnerability is a healer. Thank you for that. Thank you. But in order to truly find purpose in pain, you have to be coachable. You have to be teachable. You have to be trainable. You have to be willing to invest in yourself. Be intentionally focused. Be driven with non-negotiables, such as distractions, outside influences, negative Nellies. I went through all of that. I still do from time to time. I get the negativity thrown at me. Why are you doing that? Are you getting paid for that? Blah, 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 blah. You're a smart girl. Blah, 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 blah. How much money are you making from that? And I love and I respect the way people, loved ones and friends think they're looking out for me. I love and respect that. However, it only means you just don't understand it yet, but you will. Okay? Your why has to weigh heavy. It has to weigh heavy on yourself with a strong desire to thrive and become resilient. You see, that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. I know I'm gifted as an encourager. I know that that's a gift from above that God gave me, that not everybody has. Everybody has their own gifts. And I know that. But I knew that there was more. I knew the things that I was going through was for a purpose. Okay? And thank you for joining, Florida. Thank you so much. Thank you. I am reading that you're getting value. Thank you so much. I appreciate that as well. I see you, I feel you, and I appreciate you. 3, speaking one's truth is very important. Creating, writing, journaling, creating art, emulating what has been learned to possibly coach and mentor yourself to others that are waiting for you. Speak your truth. Hold your head up high. Adjust your crown, queens, if you have to. Kings, if you have to. But speak your truth. And don't worry about what anybody else thinks, what anybody else says. I'm not going to throw my faith on you. However, at the end of the day, there's 4 voices. God's voice, my voice, others' voice, and the enemy's voice. And quite frankly, I don't give a darn about that voice. Others' voices, you can form opinions from. But my number 1 voice, my go-to voice, God's voice. My number 2, my voice. That's it. Okay? That's it. Number 4, helping others who feel as you once felt. Hello. You can do that by reframing your experience. Consciously changing perspective. Identifying negative thoughts. Challenging the validity of those thoughts. Create new balanced thoughts. Learn about oneself and what is desired as opposed to dwelling on being stuck. Stuck as a result of the grief, the hardship, and the life challenges. And I'm reading in the comments, why? What heightens you? I love that. I'm going to use that. Thank you. Always God's voice. Amen. God's voice is always number 1. Absolutely. Absolutely. The sooner people realize that, the better they're going to be. Now, I shared my story with you, and when I said to you, it came a time when enough became enough. I couldn't take the isolation and the darkness anymore. I couldn't just keep going on the way that I did. I wasn't spending any time with my grandchildren. I had 3 at the time. Now I'm blessed with 4. My family, my friends was like, what? My time on the phone, the things that I love to do. Enough became enough because I knew that my dad would not have expected that from me. Okay, and in my mind, I heard him saying, Sonya Simone, get it together. And so when I heard my middle name, part of my government name that my father addressed, I stopped dead in my tracks. Whatever I was doing, I didn't do anymore. Whatever he thought I was going to do, I didn't do. When that enough became enough, that's when my perspective changed. Okay? That's when my perspective, closed-minded self changed to a growth mindset. Okay? And finally, the red crayon, that's the connection crayon. That's the connection crayon. Okay? And I wanted to do something. I'm going to do that something. 1 second here. Because I believe that visualization is everything. You can tell today I'm not in studio because, and I'll share that with you later as to why I'm not in the studio today. But 1 second. One quick second. Okay. Going to share something with you in a moment. All right, so now let's talk about this next crayon first, okay? So, consciously changing perspective is a win. Yes, it is, and I'm reading the amen, amens. Thank you so much. So, Red crayon is the connection crayon. Its sole purpose is to return one to love. Return one to love. Okay. And it's the love of self, the love of others, and the love of life. In this stage, there's 4 components. The first is loving yourself differently, more deeply than ever before. The second one is reopening your heart to connection. Practice self-compassion. Speak kindly to yourself. As I say, as you would speak to a friend or the monarch of your family. You're not going to kind of speak to them any kind of way, especially the monarch of your family, because there'll be a wrath to pay after if you do. So, if you speak kindly to your friends, if you speak kindly to your family, especially the monarch, why would you speak any less of yourself? To yourself. Remember that. Food for thought. Treat your body as a temple. Eat well. Get plenty of sleep. And that I've been practiced. My cutoff, been practicing that. 11, 12 o'clock cutoff. No matter what I'm doing, cutoff. I get out of class at 11. I'm getting ready to go to bed. I don't stay up all night like I used to. So I'm practicing what I'm preaching. Okay, and exercise. As I shared with you before, I'm part of the 60-day challenge with my mentor, the Be Iconic World, and my friends, which is community. And every day, faith, family, fitness, finance, and fun. Every day. And I'm going to go beyond the 60 days. This is just the beginning. And then there's self-love. You know how I say, do you, boo? Well, do you, boo? Do things for self that makes you feel good. And set those boundaries. Say no when needed, and don't you dare feel guilty. Don't you dare feel guilty. Trust me when I tell you, because I used to feel so guilty I would crumble. And I would do the things I didn't want to do. Don't do it. Set up your non-negotiables. Do not waver from them. Don't waver. Because in the end, the only one you're hurting is yourself. Okay? And number 3. Honoring who or what you lost. Talk about your loved ones. Do things in their honor, such as plant a tree. Write letters. Live your life. Donate to a cause. Make their favorite meal. Play their favorite games. Those are some of the ways in which you can honor who or what you lost. And we've talked a lot about that in the past, and we will again. More specifically tomorrow, because I will be doing a special at 11 a.m. We'll talk more about that later. Number 4, rebuild relationships. Focus on open and honest communication. I'm in the process of that my own self. Listening mindfully. Practice empathy. Create a safe place. Develop a willingness to forgive. Address those underlying issues with setting realistic expectations in the process. Consciously changing perspective is a win. Setting up non-negotiables. I'm glad that you love that. It's important. Trust me. So, my friends, choose love over fear. Say yes to life again. You're never, ever, ever going to forget about your loved one. You never will. But you're still living life. You're still breathing air. I think about my dad every day. He's all around me. I look at myself in the mirror. I see my dad. I resemble him. There's pictures of him. I talk to my siblings and they laugh and I said, "Stop it, you sound like Daddy." But I say it jokingly because I love when they do it because it sounds just like my dad. He's always going to be in my mind. He's going to be in my heart. He's going to be in my soul. But I owe it to myself to live. I owe it to those that I am put on this earth to serve, to be purposeful in my walk. So, as we close for the evening, remember in our yellow stages, happiness isn't gone. It returns in pieces. It returns in pieces. Purple reminds us what hurts us also shapes us. And that red reminds us that love remains even when everything else changes. Healing isn't just one set color. It's the entire box of crayons. And in this instance, all 64 of them. And in that, some days you pick up gray. This is gray. Some days you pick up gray. Some days, yellow. Some days, green. Some days, blue. But eventually, the picture returns. Not the old one, but a new one, a masterpiece that you created through courage, resilience, and love. The Crayon Healing Framework helps with healing. It's something to build, not something one just waits for. So I hope you were able to find value tonight. And I also want to invite you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, on a special episode of the Sonya Dungee Podcast. We will be coming together to talk but to talk about Thanksgiving blessings, not just turkey and all the other things that have been passed down. But the holidays is hard enough, especially when you're stuck, when you're feeling alone, when you're in that isolation. And I want all you to know you're not alone in it. Tomorrow we're going to come together at 11 a.m. And we're going to be grateful. We're going to talk about thankful and ways in which we can have a thankful Thanksgiving. Also, the next masterclass will be held coming up Wednesday, December the 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The registration link is live. If you're interested, DM me. I will send you the link. If anyone feels that they need some support to color their world once again, I'm offering you a free 30 minutes with a heart-to-heart with Sonya. Offline, one-on-one, uninterrupted time. DM me. That's me. And I will send you my calendar link. So, with that being said, I wish you all a thankful, grateful Thanksgiving. I will see you all tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would say look here on Facebook, just in the event that we have some technical problems again as tonight. The enemy's a liar. We came through it. Be safe. Stay well. God bless you all. And bye for now.